Hi, my name is Ellen.
And my name is Chelsea, and this is our Art of Film presentation, revealing our final hair and makeup designs for The Nightmare Before Christmas.
For the script breakdown, there were many similarities and contrasts in the way that each of us envisioned the opening scene.
We both came upon the idea to set Halloweenland in Salem during the 1600s, particularly looking at the witchcraft trials during the 1690s. We felt this appropriate because we saw comparisons in the spooky atmosphere and infamous history of Salem and how we imagined Halloweenland.
Through researching Tim Burton's previous films, we noticed that he would often set a film during a certain era, yet he would modernise it and make it more suitable to a current audience. For example, Sleepy Hollow was set in the 1800s and Dark Shadows was set in the 1970s, but all showed his unique modern twist.
Through our research and breakdown of the script, we have both continued Tim Burton's Gothic influence, although we have different ideas for how we envisioned each character.
My hair and makeup designs for Jack were inspired by a multitude of ideas. My initial idea was based on the Puritans from the 1690s who wore very dark and simplistic clothing. Makeup wasn't seen as acceptable among this culture. I was also inspired by the Headless Horseman in Tim Burton's film Sleepy Hollow, who has striking blue eyes and sharp teeth. I wanted to include these elements in my own designs, as I felt that they were haunting because they contrasted with traditional characters used in horror films. I wanted to keep this character very human-like, using the blue eyes to portray his high status.
From the descriptions of Jack being the Pumpkin King, I wanted to portray his status through his look. My research showed that the carved pumpkin tradition originated from a man called Jack who tricked the devil into not taking his soul. Therefore, when he died, his spirit remained present. The devil gave him coal in which Jack put inside a turnip to create light. Over the years, the tradition evolved to using pumpkins. I have incorporated the pumpkin headpiece made from silicone in order to show the historical elements of this character.
For Sally, I was inspired by classic Halloween makeup such as wooden dolls and the Bride of Frankenstein. Similar to Jack, I wanted Sally to have an element of realism to her to make her more relatable. I wanted her to be beautiful and angelic, but also keeping an element of horror by adding the creepy wooden doll and poorly stitched up face. Taking inspiration from the Bride of Frankenstein, whose face is commonly painted green, I thought using the green eyeshadow would be less gaudy, but still keeping an element of that character. I chose for Sally's hair to be natural, long and light blonde because I felt this highlighted her soft nature and complemented her delicate physique.
My hair and makeup designs for Sally portray both the description of the Bride of Frankenstein ragdoll combined with the illustrations of Tim Burton that include characters with large eyes and round black pupils. The use of pale makeup and pink cheeks reveal elements of makeup during the 16th century in order to contribute to the modernised theme we have decided to use. Sally's hair will be very similar to the Bride of Frankenstein, contrasting black hair to white slices with added hair extensions to fit the description of her waist-length hair within the script.
For the final main character, the Mayor, the script states him as a two-faced kind of guy, which I wanted to portray literally with two faces. I conducted further research into the Puritan man, particularly of high rank, and what they wore. After discovering that wigs were popular in that period of time, I knew I wanted to portray an older, grumpier man with grey hair on one side of his face. I knew I wanted a big contrast on the other side. I wanted him to be overtly smiley and young, almost like a greasy businessman, not too dissimilar from a young politician. The younger side is inspired by 1940s businessmen with slicked back hair and perfect teeth. Even though the two sides are inspired from different periods of time, I felt the contrasting of the two would actually complement each other.
Taking inspiration from the minimal descriptions of Mayor within the opening of the script, I wanted to create the makeup to reveal two contrasting faces. When I personally think of a Mayor, I instantly think of a more mature man with grey hair. Therefore, I felt that my own interpretation should be included in the look. His right side not only represents my own interpretation of a mayor, but also represents the politician that he is and the stresses that he has as a mayor and decision maker. His right side is the young, fun, falsely happy personality of a person who tries to maintain excitement in Halloweenland.
For my other two characters, I chose a vampire and ghoul number 2. Many things inspired me when it came to the makeup for the vampire, but I knew I would like to follow elements of what a traditional vampire looks like, such as sharp teeth and blood dripping from his mouth. But my main other inspiration was post-apocalyptic fashion. This is a very dark, edgy style, and its look is reminiscent of military clothing, designed to complement the fight for survival, just like a vampire. The style is inspired by a plethora of fashions such as Gothic Victorian, military clothing, and tribal patterns with a constant futuristic feel. This, therefore, is perfect for a vampire as they are known for being immortal, so it could have drawn inspiration from around the world and different periods of time. As for the Ghoul, I was heavily inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who wears two faces, which I felt is appropriate for this Ghoul as he is described to have a tearaway face.
I chose to create the Fat Cupids and Creature Number 2 as my additional characters. From researching the Renaissance cherub, I found that they were traditionally known as male figures. Although I have catered my hair and makeup looks for transgender women, as I feel that the outlandish hair and makeup designs would suit a transgender woman with a large personality and confidence. Similarly, in pantomime, female characters with crazy hair or makeup and big personalities are usually played by men. For example, the two ugly sisters in the children's story Cinderella. The hair designs have been inspired by Chanel's Paris Fashion Week of 2010, whilst also revealing elements of Queen Elizabeth's 16th century hairstyle with a receding hairline and tight curls. The hair and makeup designs for Creature Number 2 reveal a human-like spider. The cheekbones represent the tentacles which some spiders have and will be made with flatbed moulds using silicone to allow the pieces to look more realistic on film. I have also decided to incorporate a large spider into the makeup which sits like a crown and cobwebs and spiders into the hair.
Once our designs were complete, we began to join our ideas taking into account the set, costumes and the lighting required. It is clear that the 1600s historical element is continuous throughout our hair and makeup designs. Looking at imagery of Salem itself during this time, it is clear to see that our characters belong in those surroundings. Tim Burton has been known to use contrasting colours to traditional fairy tales such as dark greens, dark purples and black. Considering this, the lighting for the film will be high key, including the use of filters to desaturate the image to create a heavily stylised gothic mise-en-scene.
Once this decision has been confirmed with the director, the makeup palette will be designed to suit the filters used, as the filters change the appearance of a colour. For example, orange blood will need to be used instead of red, as colour filters turn red filters to black.
As well as lighting and set design, there are many other factors to be considered. Costume has a massive impact upon the makeup design. In film, the hair and makeup artists work with the costume designers in order to finalise the overall look of the character. Referring back to our research, we aimed for our characters to wear traditional 16th century clothing, where the women would wear bonnets and dull, floor-length dresses, and the men would wear brimmed hats and simple, structured clothing of a masculine colour palette.
Both men and women wore white collars and cuffs, although women would often use lace. Therefore, this shows that women still made effort with their appearance to the smallest detail. To relate this to our makeup designs, we have used historical elements, whether it is through the texture of the wig or style of makeup. For example, we have made the female characters appear slightly more glamorous to separate them from the masculinity of this era.
To conclude, we have chosen particular designs which we feel fit the context of the film and the purpose of the characters. As our additional characters are different, we will be using our original designs for the vampires, Ghoul Number 2, Fat Cupids and Creature Number 2. We will have decided to use my design for Jack, as we both feel that the realism of the hair and makeup makes him more believable as a character, therefore more scary as he looks though he could exist in reality.
For Sally, we have combined my hair design with Ellen's makeup design, as we both felt that the overall look fitted the descriptions of Sally as a fragile Bride of Frankenstein doll. We felt that the hair and makeup together suited the context of the film, whilst also appealing to the modern day audience, similar to most Hollywood films. For the mayor, we have decided to combine both my makeup design and Ellen's hair design, as we felt that it accurately fitted his description within the script, revealing two sides to his personality.
This slide shows the storyboard in which the final hair and makeup designs have been applied to The Nightmare Before Christmas.
We hope you enjoyed the presentation of our designs and storyboard. Are there any further questions?